A very short week for us to prepare for South Alabama. Very pleased to have him back here on a short week. It could have been worse. We could have been on the road back-to-back. So short turnaround for our guys. We really are banged up in a couple of spots. So we still got some guys that will be filling in to perform in this game. Big mental prep, a lot of mental prep, not as much physical prep due to the shortness of the week and where we are status-wise with our health. South Alabama has a very good football team, even though their record may not indicate it, just like us. They got some good players. They got good receivers, 3 good running backs. I think their O-line's very comparable to all the lines in our league. They do a good job of running the football. They're a running football team. Quarterback can run, beat you with his legs. They're not throwing as much, but they still have wrinkles in their offense. If you don't have correct eye discipline, they can cause a lot of issues. And then defensively, very multiple. I've been knowing the DC. DC was with me at Georgia, so he knows what he's doing. He does a good job with their defense, and they got a really good D-line front 7. Got 2 really good corners that are very good in coverage, and they matched up the one corner, I think his name is Nehemiah, to Arkansas State's #1 receiver, and he did an outstanding job on him and kind of limited his explosive plays and big play capability that he has. So definitely a tough matchup in a short week, but I feel like our guys are preparing mentally the right way. We got to come out with a lot of energy, enthusiasm on a nationally televised game and put our best product on the field.
Kind of going back to last week, what ultimately was the deciding factor in rolling with Cameran at quarterback and sticking with him throughout the game?
Some of the things he's kind of put behind him, that's behind him now, where he doesn't have those other off-the-field things that he was dealing with, and he prepared the right way last week and wanted us to make that change.
You mentioned a short week multiple times. Obviously, there's the physical and mental deals with that, but is it kind of beneficial in a way too? Just get right back on the field, not having to dwell on just what happened at Georgia Southern, just because you really can't dwell on that. You got to focus, turn that clock around really quickly.
You always got to turn the clock around and move on to the next game, but it's just if South Alabama would have played the same day, it'd be a little bit different. I mean, they played on Tuesday, and they just got an extra time to prepare and recover, rest, and all those different things. So that makes it tougher. That's what I mean by the turnaround. The turnaround is not an equal turnaround, but it is what it is.
And back on the last game as well, there are a couple times where the bigger plays Georgia Southern got were on some blitzes where they just had like the right call in and found space in the field. Is there something where are you worried about tendencies you're showing on film or not disguising blitzes as well, or do you think there's anything there that's they a couple of times had it look like the perfect play called up?
They're good coaches. There was some miscues on our part, just lack of execution, and they had a good play call against a particular defense. Really, just the one back in the flat. That was a good play call. That was a good executed play, and they were able to block Josiah on that play, which prevented him from covering the back, and they threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So that was a good call by them.
And then Lane has the fumble, Jartavius the face mask, and those are young guys. You're gonna have some of those things crop up, but how do you turn those into teaching moments to grow from for players like that? They're young guys.
Yeah, we've had a lot of teaching moments this year, and that's the thing. You want to kind of go through teaching moments and still win the football game, and that hadn't been the case for us. But we are a young team in a sense. We don't have many seniors, having a lot of guys to have to step in and play, and they're doing a good job. But it's all the little things, details that ultimately fall back on me. And we emphasize all the basics of not beating ourselves, holding on to the football in traffic, and we do drills for all these different things. The false start, we had crowd noise all week last week, every period, even on Friday. So just we got to focus on the details, lock in on our assignments, and ultimately we got to execute in a hostile environment. Same thing, we warn them that once we get to the their field house and that end was louder. That's just the experience of being there and knowing that that end was going to be the louder end of the field, and that's where we had our 2 false starts.
Saw Kobe Owens. He's developed and gotten more playing time and getting more acclimated. What about his development with the team? He had I think 5-6 tackles against Georgia Southern. What about just his growth with the team?
Yeah, he's getting better. He's been improving every week, and same thing due to injury to Demaine Wilson, and really proud of his effort and how they're acclimating and getting better, and just understanding everything. And the thing is, every game plan has a different life. Every team brings in a different plan of attack, so all those different adjustments have to get readjusted to what you're going to see in the new week. And, being a short week, we really got to be dialed in on some of the clues to the test and really recognize things before it happens to play our best game.
They weren't playing the regular snaps they had the whole season, but you did get the 3 defensive linemen back last week, Henry, Ian, and Jartavius. I guess good to have those guys back in any capacity, and hoping to have them progress more and more week by week.
Yeah, they'll be a lot better this week. They're better this week than they were last week, so hopefully that'll pick up with their snaps and play. So I can say that they'll be closer to playing winning football than they were last week. So that's a plus for us.
Just a general question, not just you specifically, but just a general state of coaching. We've seen around the country coaches being released or relieve their duties like in the middle of the season, not even before we get to November. Just among your coaching circle, among your fellow coaches, what do you think just the state of just the relationship between athletic departments and coaches? And I know you can hire to be fired, but the timetable seems to be a lot earlier than it's ever been.
I think you can look at it in a lot of different facets. I think every level of the firings, the resources are different. And when you're talking about bigger programs, they have everything you can imagine that's provided for the players. They have maximum revenue sharing. They were able to buy and pick the players that they truly wanted, and I think it's a trickle-down effect to the smaller schools. I mean, the smaller schools don't have that revenue that those schools have, and the resources aren't necessarily the same in the smaller schools. So I think it's a huge difference in some of the expectations. Our expectation is to win here. Unfortunately, we hadn't been successful the way we want to be, and we got to really, really execute at a higher level, coach at a higher level, just do things that we do every day in practice and take them to the game. And I thought we made a move in the right step last week, and with Cam Brown and knowing that he could provide things with his legs and get out of trouble and get out of harm's way. And, moving forward, that's what you kind of got to have, guys that can have mobility to be that next guy in case that guy goes down. So a lot of that has to do with the recruiting piece and what you're able to acquire through the money that you have to get players. And, a lot of, I guess, outside people don't understand that part of it, what's available. Heck, we recruited Trinidad Chambliss and thought we would have a shot at him. Didn't turn out that way because of money, of course. And he wanted to, it was a situation where it wasn't necessarily going to be a case where he knew he was going to be the starter either. So he kind of betted on himself and took more money. And, I mean, that's just one name. I don't mean to bring that name up. There's plenty of other guys I can name at a lot of different positions where money was better at other places. So you kind of got your pot, and you got to kind of get what you can get with the pot that I have. But I don't know if that answers your question. I just think there's different levels to why administrators do whatever they're doing, the duration that a coach is there. I don't know about all the ins and outs and why, and I'm just giving you my opinion of certain things. And so right, wrong, or indifferent, just an opinion.
And just last thing for me, kind of in connection to that, do you have these conversations with Charlie, the administration, the presidents, the board at Georgia State, just about this landscape of it's beyond finances, but that's a big part of it. How often do you have these talks with them? Do you just kind of wait till the end of the year, or is it just kind of continual conversation about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's conversations. It's a lot of a lot of layers to that financial piece and what you can get. Being where we are is, a little bit different. I mean, if you just, I guess, only a couple of Sun Belt schools that I have not been to is ULM and Lafayette. I heard Lafayette's nice. So if you just do a deep dive into what schools have from a resource tradition, which we're still young, 16 years is not a lot of time. And that's the thing I think some people kind of lose sight of. I don't think our administration loses sight of that. I think they understand the intricacies and what's kind of needed and kind of next steps. But, it takes more than just, the administration. It takes the university and it also takes us winning games. It has a lot of layers to it that goes into how do we improve financially to provide for players, not only through rev share, but, just recovery, nutrition. I mean, everything that goes into the complete student athlete, mental health, which we have all those things, but everything, it can be a lot. It can be improved upon, and those are things that we just got to kind of work through and keep our head down and understand this is this new age of football, new wave. I mean, it changed in the last 2 years. I mean, now we only have one transfer portal, so that's going to be another, all right, how do you retain this player? You got to get players now, so it's going to be a different hurdle where you don't have 2 windows. So the strategies are going to change from that. I mean, do you take less high school kids? Do you stick with taking the high school kids? It really just depends on how, in my opinion, how you're trying to level up your team. For us, it would be awesome if we can retain most of our guys because we are young. But at the same token, we have a lot of young guys that are playing, and in the wave of some guys play and another school think they can add value and they're going to be able to pay them more money. So it's just a difficult process, and that's probably the hardest part, having to deal with the new players and retaining the players. To me, will be more important moving forward into next year. So the more players we can retain, I feel really, really confident on where we can go as a program.
With the players, I mean, obviously, if guys are on the field putting out tape, that's always going to be a risk of maybe someone's going to come calling. But for guys that are younger, maybe playing a little but not playing a ton, or guys that are even just fully redshirting, whatever, how do you have those conversations of, we still have this plan for you, and it might be a risk for you to go in the portal because you might not go where you think you're going to? How do you balance that without making it sound like you don't still believe in them? Oh, yeah, no. I mean, the kids, we'll have meetings, and, it's not time to have those talks right now. That'll be later in the process and when we have our exit meetings. But it's it's a two-way street. I mean, kids have agents. I mean, agents are telling them, I know this school wants you. I can get you here. I can get you this amount of money. So money's going to talk at the end of the day in a lot of circumstances. Now, there's great examples of guys that were here that left and went other places that aren't producing. I mean, I'm not going to say names, but you can look at the guys that are playing and who's not playing, and it's not very many that's producing at a high level. I do know of one that's playing really well. Not saying other guys aren't playing, but they're not playing the snaps that they were playing when they were here. So, the kids and parents have to understand that, and they got to do what's best for them at the end of the day. And I want guys that want to be here too. So it's always a two-way street, and we got to have reality at the same time, who we need to try to keep and what's the realistic expectations of
a kid moving on and whether they're draft stock, for instance, Ted Hurst. I mean, he decided to stay for good reason. I mean, we had every NFL scout in America here ×2 because of him. So he's added exposure to our other kids, but he stayed for a reason. I'm certain that he's going to have a bright future and he's going to get drafted. And by staying, that allowed that to happen. If he'd have went to some other suitors, who knows what would have happened. And you can kind of see the previous guys that left and went to other places that went down in their production at that position and other positions. And like I said, the guys that went to portal from our team last year, I mean, you can go Google it, PFF it, you'll see the production that they're not having or having, and it's obvious. But so are you going to go somewhere for a couple $1,000s and you feel like that's life-changing? You know, it may be to some families and some players. So it's really dependent on the kid. And like I said, I want guys that want to be here.
Your thoughts on your performance last Saturday, getting out there, playing a full game?
Last Saturday's in the past, but I think personally, I mean, I think I did decent. I think there's some things that I need to get better at. There's a couple passes that I missed, some certain like things that I need to pick up on, or maybe just have a higher motor or push the guys more. But I think my performance was decent, but it wasn't enough to get the job done. We didn't get the win. So there's anything, as long as I didn't get the win, I mean, I feel like there's something that you can always improve on.
What was stuff from when you got here on campus to this point that you felt like you've wanted to work on the most and improve on, and where have you seen that?
I would say probably just my mental game. The physicality of the game really has not been a problem for me. It was more mentally. I'll say this, like I played 1 year of high school football at quarterback, and after that I went straight to college. So my learning curve was kind of in college, like learning coverages. I mean, obviously, you got the cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, but then once you get into 3 buzz, 3 sky, 3 weak, I didn't really know what those were. So I'll say that even till this day, like I'm still like working on just making sure that my mind is the most mentally sharp, so I can perform the best.
And how important was it just because there's been a rotation at quarterback throughout the entire year, but to start the game and finish it, obviously the result wasn't what you wanted, but just to play a full contest, how important do you think that is for just your overall development to play a full game? I would say
that it didn't play a part in like my full development, because at the same time, TJ, he's a great quarterback. When we were rotating in, there's something like he's played a lot of football. He's been to multiple different schools. He's a lot older than me. He's a veteran, so he knows a lot more things. So even when he was playing, he was putting me on game. Even when he was coming off to the sideline, I'm like, hey, what you see right here? Or in practice, I'm like, hey, what you see? So it was always, I wouldn't say that playing a full game helped me develop the most. I would say that even when rotating, I was still developing. I mean, even if you're not, playing that full game, you still got mental reps and you can still learn from each other.
I guess how much easier does life get when you have a guy like Ted Hurst that you can trust in those key spots you can throw to? Big target.
Yeah. Ted, he's a great guy. He's a playmaker. He's a hard worker. And one thing that I would say about him, like even though, yes, he makes the great catches and he makes the big plays, also he's a great blocker. I'll say that he's very physical on the edge. He's very on the perimeter. He loves playing for his brother. I'll say that one thing about him. Like you can see him on certain plays, he'll run down the field trying to make a block when somebody has the ball. So, it makes it very easy for somebody that, most of those 50-50 balls are not really 50-50. So it kind of leads in your favor, and you kind of know that you can trust them in the time of need.
Coach mentioned, and I'm not going to get personal, but you said you're dealing with some things maybe off the field, or I don't know if that, whatever that is. But he says you've been able to kind of work through that, and now you're finding your form.
Right.
What's that been like? Just you've been here a few months now, and just working through that, and now it seems like you said you're in a better place just overall.
Right. I think personally, the stuff that I was dealing with, I mean, I was open with the coaches, but honestly, I don't think that has affected anything that I had going on. Even though it's dealing with a lot, and it may come off as that is hindering me from doing a certain amount of stuff. I don't think that has hindered me at all. But I do appreciate him for looking out, saying like, oh, he has a lot of stuff going on. He's actually helped me work through it. But at the same time, I don't really think that's hindered me from my ability to play.
You're talking about you're still learning all the intricacies of offense, but you're obviously a good athlete. I guess
Right.
how do you balance like moments where it's like, I think I can do this versus going through what you're getting teached week in, week out, and just like sticking within yourself?
Right. Honestly, it's I think the coaches in the game plan, they kind of help me. They kind of help me to decide when I need to run and when I need to pass. So they do a good job in the game plan. Like, hey, if this is not open, like you can, you got your legs. And I'm fortunate enough, like I don't have to force any football. Like at the end of the day, like if the pocket breaks down or if somebody's not open, I don't have to force a football. I can use my legs. So more like they help me develop when the times that I should run, when the time that I should extend the play and try to make a pass, or when the time that I should stay a passer. So I think they help me develop in the mind where it made it easy for me, like when I get into games that, yeah, I need to run here, or I need to pass here, or I need to extend the play, or whatever the case may be.
And last thing for me, now you're facing a short week, so it's a little bit of a challenge here. You're home, which is good. But what about handling now a short week against a South Alabama team that's obviously looking to turn their season around too? How have you been just preparing the team, or how have you been preparing just for this a condensed schedule for Thursday?
Yeah, like you said, South Alabama, they're looking to turn things around. They're a good team. They're a good, well-coached team. Their record is just the same as ours, but I don't feel like their record shows the talent that they have on their roster or the ability how they play. But being a short week, honestly, it's more mental than physical. Obviously, we played Saturday, so a lot of players, they still got those little aches and bruises that you usually can get through the week when you play on another Saturday. But since it's a short turnaround, it's more a mental thing. What I do to prepare for it, like just watch film. Honestly, there's nothing. And watching film and getting good scout looks. Like our scouts do a great job giving us looks. So that helps us when we get in the game that, I've seen this before, because the scout team gives us a great look. Or when I watch film, like I've seen this before because I watch film, I put in the time. So I think that honestly is more of a mental thing than more physical.
I guess you're always looking ahead. You're not trying to dwell in the past, but I guess when you look at giving up 14 against JMU in the last couple of weeks, how do you get back to what was working in that game that's maybe gotten away the last couple of weeks?
Just looking back at what we did, honestly, and then keep on moving forward, obviously, not looking backwards, and then just being focused on the keys that we did during that JMU game and bringing that forward with us.
You're facing a short week now against a South Alabama team that's similar record, some struggles on their end as well. How's the team preparing for that, just physically and mentally? Because you only have fewer days to prepare.
Just it's a quick turnaround, so you just have to have a Lego mindset. We played game Saturday, started on Sunday working on South Al, the new opponent. So I think it's just a quick mindset. Got to wash the old in with the new. I think that's just been the mentality for all of us.
You're obviously one of the vets on this defense, but alongside you, who are some of the guys that you count on to be kind of the voices of the defense to keep guys' spirits up, but also if there needs to be accountability to guys that the rest of the team will listen to?
Right. So, I'll say the linebacker crew, I definitely tell them that all the time, that we need to be the energy and the effort, enthusiasm, all that throughout this week. And just some other guys, some of the D-line, Deuce Lewis, Jalen Jones, Juice, some other guys that's in other positions that hits all levels of the defense, that they just need to be more outspoken because, it is a short week, but it's just a strong response that we need. So I just ask them to be like, hey, come on, let's get this done, have the extra time to get the other guys going, watching extra film, watching a little bit more because it is a short week.
Yeah, and then just what about the anticipation for the game overall? ESPN will be here. They're hosting ESPN2. Mm-hmm. They're doing like a little pregame something in the middle of campus. Just what about that energy and atmosphere that you expect with just that extra eyes on you, as I'm sure your fellow students are excited about that?
Oh, definitely. And it's a Thursday game, it's something you're not really used to, but it gives that nervousness, that little excitement as well. So I think the players are really excited for that, for a Thursday game. Just to see what it's like, what it feels like.
And you mentioned Juice there. I think he came in the same year you came, but maybe you were transferring. He was a freshman. And he at this point is still a sophomore. You're talking about him as one of those guys. So I guess how have you seen him kind of now be already as a sophomore, kind of contributing in that way as a voice on the defense? Yeah,
just coming in with Juice grown a lot. We've been here. We've been cool since we got here. So just seeing that progression, seeing the growth from him is very astonishing, And now that he's at the level that he's a leader, you know, I know he's young, but I tell him the ins and outs of it, you know. Tell him, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what needs to be said, you know. Say it in the right manner to certain people, you know, things like that. But he's been great. He's been doing great.